Earning Labs presents a webinar on e-commerce with AdWords by Sandeep Kumar. Before we begin, make sure to join our group and subscribe to the channel for more. Group link is available in the description below.
This is me, Sandeep. Those who don't know me, let me give you a brief about me. So basically, I run a digital marketing agency which is specialized in the e-commerce from Mohali, Chandigarh. And we are doing this from last 3 years. We are working with some small startups as well and some big brands. They are doing like 7 to 8 figures. We are managing their Google ads, have spent more than $5 million in the Google ads and have made more than 10 to $15 million with the Google ads for the client. So all these things come from that experience that we will share with you. So starting out, this will be the discussion, today discussion outline. Like we will discuss the framework of the PPC ads. We will discuss about cold, warm, and hot. We all know about this cold, hot, and warm. How we can use it in the Google. I will show you that campaign optimization and the campaign scaling. So starting with the campaign framework, I will share this image with you in the group so that you can have a better idea what is mentioned here and how you can utilize specific parts. So if you see this framework, it is for the Google ads, and if you can see search ads here, shopping ads, display ads, YouTube ads, and the competitor research. Basically, everything which can be done with the Google is in the framework. And there are only, we know search and shopping for the e-commerce are the most important parts where we invest a lot of our time or energy and money and we get the best returns from there only. So these two parts are to support the search and shopping, but these are also important. With the search and shopping, here is the thing, like when you start search, most of people when they start search, they go to the, they do go and do keyword research. They test them out and see which keyword is working and which keyword is not working. So I would say before even doing and going that part, you have to figure out this thing: hot campaigns, warm campaigns, and cold campaigns for your search ads. What it is basically, you have to divide a keyword into this category. Is it hot, warm, or cold? Like the buying is there, the buying intent is high there, or it's low there. You have to segregate it by that. And in the hot campaign. Okay. So I will share that image. One after the webinar is done, I will share that image in the group.
Okay. Thank you.
So it can be easily accessible. Yeah. So in the search campaigns, like I mentioned, we can have 3 types of campaigns: hot, warm, and cold. So start with these campaigns because we need the maximum ROI. In this, you can have your brand campaigns. You have product specific campaigns, like any keywords which can send that to the product specific RLS campaigns, and the discovery campaigns with the retargeting audience. So these discovery campaigns, these are very new campaigns just launched by the Google. They were in beta for a long, now they are available. So you can use your audiences. This is basically a mix of search, YouTube, display. And if you use them for your retargeting audience, it will be very good because you can actually show the carousel type of ads and images in the Google search, like we get the carousel ads in the Facebook. So I have found them very good. We don't have much data from the conversion point of view, but for the interaction and to feed your funnel, we have found them well. Okay, then second is the warm campaigns. Now, hot campaigns will not be very big. They are very limited campaigns, but they will be the campaigns which will be driving the maximum ROI. Like when we say 80-20 rule, so these will be the 20% of the components of your campaign which will be driving the conversion. Now, this is the warm campaign, which means like you can send the keywords when we send the traffic to from search campaign to category pages or product pages. So we use the warm campaigns. These keywords, they are in the consideration stage. They are exploring options. They are looking for more products or more available. Have to select from a variety of the products. So you can use these warm campaigns. Keep their budget and bids a bit low. Don't keep them too high. Now this is very interesting here. Direct to advertorial page. A lot of e-commerce stores don't do this. What they do is they send directly traffic to the category pages or the product pages or the collection pages, which is good. Sometimes it works, but the ROI is not even that good there directly. But if you send the traffic to the advertorial pages with the reviews, listicle, informative, this type of content, and with the warm keyword, for example, let me show. We have a client that we are doing the Google ads for them, and So with the search campaign, so this is like one of our search campaign, and we are using the advertorial strategy here. These are this is like quoting. They provide a stuff of quoting. This is, let me also select a time, and select in 30 days. So in the last 30 days, you can see we have got approx 20,000 clicks, and the spend is like 5,500. Conversions are around 900, and conversion value by all conversions is this. Let me, yeah, conversion value you can see is 45,000, which is like 5.6%, and all of this is from the advertorial campaign. Like if you go there, the keywords are the warm type of keywords. Best ceramic coat, ceramic coating for cars, best ceramic car coating. These type of keywords are like the basically the warm keywords will which are not in the hot intent. People are considering them, people are looking for the stuff, and when we run the ads, we don't run ads about the product, we run ads for the reviews, like best ceramic coat 2020, for example, best ceramic coat 2020 review, best ceramic wax review, so that they see, okay, the ad is like coming, and from the review perspective, from the education perspective, and they come to a page, to the advertorial page, and from there they can go and they can buy, and the conversion end up aggregating to the ad account. So this is the kind of strategy you can use with your products, you can use with your campaigns. So coming back to the framework, we can use the different type of advertorial strategies like reviews, listicle, informative, and comparison. You basically have to test them out, and you have to see the type of products that you have, or the categories of products. If you have some products which can do well with the informative, you can use those type of advertorial. You basically have to test them out, and you have to see which one works better for you. And then the cold campaigns, when it comes, when you have utilized the hot and warm and you want to scale it really big, then you can use the cold campaigns, which includes again the advertorial page with the keywords which are more cold, like broad, very broad keywords, and in the informative stage. And the discovery campaigns, again, discovery campaigns allow us to target the similar audience, affinity audience, intent-based topic audience, and the smart campaigns, keyword-based. So smart campaigns, we have seen them in the cold campaigns doing fine and doing well. They actually again help to aggregate conversions to your brand and to your bottom of the funnel campaign. So this is for the search ads. In these search ads, we will discuss more about how to do optimizing, how to do setup in the next slide. Then this is the shopping campaign. Now this is again, this is a very coveted type of campaigns. A lot of people talk about shopping ads, but working on them and how to do them, optimization them is really a big challenge. So we have to use the same funnel strategy here: hot, warm, and RLSA. Now, hot is, in this case, in shopping campaigns, hot will be any product where you have advantage from your competitors. It can be your best selling, price advantage, you have availability advantage, any other advantage that you have from the competitors, you can use the hot campaign. The why to use the hot campaign with the shopping campaign, because you don't have the control of the keywords here. You don't have control of the search terms here. So it's always good to send your best audience or send your best traffic to the search with the shopping ads, so that there are maximum chances of the conversion. And I recommend to run the single product campaigns for these low hanging fruit products, which we say low hanging fruit. Then the warm campaigns. When you run the hot campaigns, always include one campaign with all products with low priority. Now, with Google Shopping, there are three type of priorities that you can set with a campaign: low, high, and medium. What it means? It means if you run the same product into three campaigns, and you set low, high, and medium priority, Google will go with the high priority first, then with the medium, and then with the low. So if you want to use the same product in 2 or 3 campaigns, you can always select skip priority there. In the warm campaigns, target them from category based, all products, category or product type. You can use custom labeling. For example, there is some type of advantage of prices there, like 30%, 40% price advantage there. So you can use them, and the smart campaigns. RLSA is basically remarketing the search ads on the search ads on the Google, where you can use the same audience if they have been on your website before and now they want to again looking for something relevant to your products. You can again tap your ads to them. So then is the display ads. With the display, we don't go with the fold very much, but I have mentioned this option here if you want to build up a brand and you can scale further. What we do is the HOT. In HOT, we run dynamic remarketing, dynamic display remarketing, which actually shows the same product which your user has visited on the website and they can see the same product around the web. And then the standard display remarketing. In standard display remarketing, we use the normal images with the best-selling product and the HTML5 images. So we have seen that HTML5 images does very well with the standard display remarketing campaign. Obviously, you have to exclude all the mobile and all the placements which are not converting here. Then it's the YouTube ads. This YouTube ads, again, don't go with the cold ads. Just use the audience that you already have, which is one is the remarketing audience, which is on your website. And second is if there is a brand competition or there is a brand who is very renowned and you have a product relevant to them and people are searching for that brand, then you can target that brand in the YouTube and you can show your ads. So the type of ads which can be used, which we have seen very productive in the e-commerce are these type of ads, informative, explainer, or how to do. The objective of YouTube ads is not getting the direct ROS, but it is more working towards the bottom of the funnel, like building up more audience, building up more for the brand reputation. This is the main objective of working with the YouTube ads. And you can always do your competitor research with ads, landing page, keywords, or whatever they are doing. Okay. So this was the framework, and I will share that with you. Now, Google Ads funnel. This is the same thing: search ads, shopping ads, display ads, and YouTube ads. Again, hot campaigns, warm campaigns, cold campaigns. This is, guys, very important to segregate your audience in the hot, warm, and cold. If you don't know what is your hot audience, what is your warm audience, and what is your cold audience with Google, because Google traffic is intent based, it's not interest based. So if we cannot differentiate the intent, if we don't know how to differentiate the intent in the hot, warm, and cold, it becomes very messy. So that's why it's very important to have this type of segregation with your audience. Now, such campaigns, I already had shown the account access account to you as well. In this campaign, you can see brand, and from brand we have like 2,000 conversions in the last 30 days. With like from 4,000 we got like approx 140K conversion value. Now, the interesting thing with this brand is this brand has been built up using this framework. So we use this framework to build up this brand. In the last year, May, they had only like 600 or 500 search terms, but now they have like more than 20,000 search terms with their specific brand, because we put more and more content in the middle of the funnel. And then I already mentioned advertorial strategy, so there are the conversions are there. So search campaign setup, like we have discussed, hot campaigns, product specific, brand specific, buying intent audience, discovery campaigns with the remarketing list. Warm campaigns can be your targeting to the categories, products, advertorial campaigns, discovery campaigns targeting custom intent, similar audience. Like in Facebook, we can build up the lookalike audience, so we can do the same with the Google using the similar audience, and we can target those audience in your warm campaigns with the discovery campaigns or the display campaigns and with the YouTube campaigns also. So this is warm campaign is mainly for the audience which are considering or looking for the option. And then the cold campaigns. These are the campaigns when you have exhausted both your hot and cold, and you can go with broad with audience. One or two word type keywords here with the broad mesh type discovery campaigns with interest or intent based, and advertorial campaigns again. Okay, so when it comes to the optimization, there, see, optimization is not just one part or two parts. There are more than like 20 or 30 variables which you can optimize on day-to-day basis to improve the performance, like search terms, keyword match size, quality score, demographics, click-through rate, impression share, bounce rate, active terms. So all of these things you have to check out. The first thing that should be in the mind is the conversion. If we have the conversion from our store, if we are getting the conversion from the campaign, then it is important. That means we know what keywords or what bids or what average positions are having the conversions, and what devices having the conversions, which locations we are having the conversions, and the ones which are not having, you can simply go and kill them. But wait for a significant data. Make sure that you have the data to support you to that decision. Okay, the Google Shopping campaigns. So with Google Shopping campaigns, let me take you through. Let me first show you some of these numbers here. Like in the last 30 days, with one of our account, we spent like 8,000, approx 7,500, and generated like 88,000. So this is the same funnel that we use. Let me take you through. This is interesting. You can see all of these are this is a dropshipping store, first of all, and all of these are the single product campaigns. So we are targeting each product into a individual campaign into this, and you can see in the last 30 days the clicks, conversions, cost per conversion, conversion value, and value by conversion, conversion value by cost, which is ROS. That's 3.6. We have spent approx 21,000, generated around 77,000, and conversion value with the 3.6 ROS. And all of these are the dropshipping products. We are testing them with the single product campaign. So for example, this product, where you can see that it is single product, and it is running on the eCPC. Now you have to use the different bidding strategies. It's not like you can always use the maximum CPC or the automated base. You have to, when you start with the campaign, then always use the manual CPC. And we basically, what we do, we use the campaign groups, because we have divided them in that way, like second batch, first batch, and then the number of clicks, conversion, so that we can, when we add the new products or the new batch of products, we can optimize them accordingly. So for example, this is the first batch, and in that first batch, again, single product campaigns, and the second product and the second batch, we have the single product campaigns into that as well. This is another account where we are doing the shopping ads again. Here we are doing the smart shopping and brand and other analysis. So with the smart shopping, the results are very good because the account is already matured. The conversion tracking code is matured, and the smart automation does well here. So you can see the cost is like 7,500 and the conversion value. The same thing here with the different account, like in the shopping campaign, the cost, conversions, and like we spent approx 11,000 and generated around 35,000 here with the 3x ROI. Okay, so how do we start with the shopping campaign? First of all, it's very important that your feed is, is placed very well into the merchant. You have the title, descriptions written very well. Your keyword search terms, before, like, do a keyword research for your product and make sure you have the search terms in your title and description, because Google uses the title and description to pick the search term, so that if that is relevant, like SEO, they will rank up in the shopping ads. And then use all the negative keywords Here in this campaign, we are using like hundreds of negative keywords because we know all the terms which are not relevant, we add them into the negative and we do an extensive negative term. This is actually, you can see that we are doing a lot of negative terms into it. This is basically the system. Yeah. So we keep adding the negative terms and we keep doing the negative terms. It's important that you add the negative terms time to time, and that is important to avoid the traffic which you don't want. And start with the manual CPC when you start shopping campaign so that you can adjust a bit of the product item IDs. And when you have the product item IDs which are getting clicks and which are getting conversion, then you can segregate the specific item IDs into the new campaign. Now, here is the trick. Don't create a new campaign for that specific item ID. Instead, stop all the products if you have more than, if you have more item IDs or more product IDs into that, and create the new campaign for those product IDs which are not working, and just keep the campaign running with the product IDs which are working. Because if you stop or you create a new campaign with a product ID which is converting, it will reset its history. It will again start the history of it, and there are chances of getting the fluctuation in the result. So again, when setting it up, it's important that you have a list of your best selling products. You know what are your lowest price products than your competitors, because with Google Shopping, price is a very big factor. When they see the product with the image and the price, they go and buy. Competitive advantage, it can be price, it can be shipping, it can be reviews. Always add the negative search terms to all cold and warm keywords. Now, if like we did in the search campaign, if we have identified the cold and warm keywords, we have to add them in the smart product specific campaign. This means for a single product, we can run the smart campaign. That will, because smart campaigns, they tend to work better than the standard campaigns. But it's important that we have the conversions in the account before running the smart campaign, because smart campaigns pick or pull all their data from the account history. Run single product campaigns if you are doing dropshipping or if you have small inventory. RLSA campaign, again, to target the audience, and high priority campaigns. Hot campaigns should always be high priority campaigns. Maximize click-bait strategy. When you get the conversion, if you are running single product campaign, you can use the maximum click-bait strategy. If you are using single campaign but with multiple products, then go with the manual. Warm campaign, you can always go with that, like target when you are targeting running campaigns on the category base or the product type, or smart campaigns, all products. So again, the optimization, it is very important. The setup of the shopping campaign is segregated and done well, because when it comes to optimization, you will optimize the shopping campaigns, shopping ads on the product ID. So you segregate them on the category, product type, so that when you identify or divide them by the item IDs, you can see which one item ID is not working and you can stop that. Consistently exclude customs, use CPC initially until you get 1000 conversions. So this is like I was mentioning, use manual builds until you get 1000 conversions. If your account has 1000 conversions to shopping campaigns, then you test out the automatic pay. Don't bid too high, like you don't have to bid $1 or $2. If you are targeting the US, go with 2.25, 0.35 or 0.4. 0.4 is still high, like go with 0.335 initially. Exclude products not converting. There's an option of products which are not converting but getting clicks. You can exclude them. Now use show code. These ads are like they don't convert very well at the last click, but they help you to fill up your funnel to build up the audience and to retarget them. When increasing the bids of the products, do it by 20-30% increase in the bids gradually, instead of making like double or like we do with the Facebook stuff. And dedicated campaigns for the performing product, demographic optimization. Okay, so display campaigns. With the display campaigns, again, like I already discussed, we have both campaigns, which will be the dynamic remarketing campaigns. And when doing the dynamic remarketing campaigns, make sure you have the exclusion of the mobile apps and everything there. Standard remarketing campaigns, these are the HTML5 and the image which you can make by yourself and you can add and you can run. Into this also exclude all mobile traffic. Now earlier we used to do that, with the URL, but now we have to go and check that if there's any placement. Like there's the option of category exclusion of mobile apps, but that doesn't work always. And the call campaigns here. So display campaign optimization, you have to exclude the mobile placement, analyze placement with view through conversion. Now, it's possible that the placements are not reporting the conversions directly, but always keep the view through conversions enabled so that you know if the placement is responsible for a conversion ad for your search or shopping ads. And don't run small size ads, like they are not visible, they basically end up spending money. We have noticed maximize conversions from HTML ads and demographic optimization. So YouTube ads again, like when you are retargeting your audience or competitor brand keywords or with the brand keywords and using the informative type of material. So that is basically when setting up and using the strategy. Core values, this is something we use when we set up the campaign, like we think customer first, that help us to identify the audience between hot, cold, and warm, and use the right funnel, sell when they are looking, because this is intent-based advertising on Google. So we actually know what they are looking and what type of advertorials or what type of campaigns we can show to them. Different type of campaigns for different type of stores. Okay, so here is a brief idea that we have learned. If you have a small budget like 50 USD, 100 USD, around that, and you want to run the campaign, so run Google Shopping campaigns and with dynamic remarketing campaigns. Don't go for the search campaigns. Search ads are expensive than Google Shopping campaigns. So I recommend to start with the Google Shopping campaigns, and then once you have the Google Shopping campaigns running up and running and you are getting conversions and clicks there, then identify the search terms which are getting conversions and use them into the search campaign. For the dropshippers, so Google Shopping and advertorial campaigns with search ads are best to get the amazing ROI. So like we already had seen that shopping campaign with a single product campaign perform better with the dropshippers. You have to basically test it up. You have to wait for some data to see if the product works pursuing or not. And brand building, it includes the search, display, YouTube, and brand retargeting for the brand building campaign. Large stores. Okay, so large stores basically can run all type of campaigns, and shopping campaigns and search campaigns just perform a very big job there. Okay, so that's it. Now we can take the question. Saresh, you there?
Yeah. Let's start with the questions.
Yeah.
Guys, please put your questions in Q&A, and I will take some of the questions that has been there in comment section for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a question here. Can I take the questions from here?
Yeah, directly. Yeah.
Okay. So I have a question here from Surinder. Like he said, one of my campaign with 10 quality store is getting 20% impression share. Tell me how to increase the impression share. So you can do that by increasing your bids. First of all, check how there's a benchmark data available, but because you have low impression share, so you always increase the bids and the budget. The bids are directly relevant to increase the impression share. If your quality score is 10, that means the ad rank will value more if you increase the bid. Increase by 20 or 30% and you will see the difference. Okay, we have a question from Joe. Do you post advertorials on the same Shopify store blog or a different website? So, well, if you post it on a different website, that will be great, because when it comes from a third party and if it's a renowned, if it's known in your industry, in your niche, that will be very, very good. But if you don't have that access, you can still try and post it into the same blog and you can cover it up. But I recommend to go with a third party website, and that is actually having a awesome traffic on. Are these CPA offers? No, these are not the CPA offers. These are the actual products. And we are agency, so we work with different clients. how are custom intent and custom affinity audiences for display campaigns? We have not seen the custom intent and custom affinity audiences working very well for the e-commerce campaigns with all clients, and because most of them are not have very huge budgets. But if your intention is to build a lot of audiences for the retargeting services, then that can work well. But make sure to exclude all the mobile traffic from it. Do advertorial needs to be clocked? No, advertorials don't need to be clocked. They are purely white hat. But you have to make sure that you are tracking the clicks from the advertorial to back to your product. So for that, you can use Funnelflux, which is very good in the tracking, and that will report back to your Google Ads account, and you will have all the details of your keyword search terms, everything. What is a RLSA? RLSA is basically a remarketing campaign for the search ads. Like we can do remarketing on the display ads, we can do remarketing with Facebook ads. So similarly, we can do the remarketing on the search ads. For example, I was searching for nice shoes and I went to the Flipkart. Now, 3 days back, I was again searching for the nice shoes, and then Flipkart knows, okay, he was searching for nice shoes 3 days back. If I give him a better offer, if they say me, okay, we have 10% discount for you for the nice shoes, they can cater me with specific that search term. Does the same strategy apply to POD business? With the POD businesses, we have seen the Google Shopping campaigns perform better than the direct search campaigns. So you have to test out the multiple designs and multiple type of themes with that. And yes, advertorial strategy does very, very well with the POD business. Okay, what do you mean by advertorial campaigns for dropshippers? If, for example, you are selling, let's say face masks are not allowed to sell, but let's say we are selling a drones. So we can, if someone has run the native ads, they know what is advertorial campaign. But for someone who has not done it, for example, if we are selling the drone and we say top 5 drones, yeah, reviews of the best drones, this type of keyword, and someone is searching like drones to buy, or someone is looking for the drones, and when they see the keywords reviews, best drones reviews, so they will go and they will see a great article there. In that article, make sure your product is on the first and it has the maximum content, it has the best pictures, it has, the maximum of the attention should be on your product. After that, just cover the 3, 4 or 5 other products just to make it more advertorial type of stuff. Okay, do advertorials need to be blocked? No, we don't need them. We already have answered that. Mobile placements should be excluded. I couldn't hear that properly. Mobile placements, because a lot of, not the mobile placements, but the mobile apps traffic. Because a lot of mobile app traffic from Google is not quality traffic, and because they have a lot of, display network is very big and they want their AdSense owners to make money. So I don't think mobile apps is a good way to get traffic for the e-commerce. Which card do you use to advertise for Google Ads? We basically use we work with clients, so they use their own debit and credit cards. Can we create US or any country ad account to prevent GST? Well, GST is placed on your card, and no, if you have the billing from the US, if you can use the US card, then you can use. But if you will use the Indian card and will create the billing address of US, it will not work. Do you follow Google recommendations for optimization? We don't follow them 100%, but we follow them. We actually see what are the recommendations, if they make sense, and if they can because we always track what we change. It is very, very important that you always track what you are changing. If you are not tracking, then you don't know what is working, what is not working. So we always see if some recommendation makes sense, and if they do, then we obviously implement them. But we don't implement the budgets one, because if you implement your budget after the Google recommendation, there we have seen a low in the conversions and low in the account performance. What should be the testing budget for each product? So it can be either break even or 2x of the product. That is a good product, a good budget for that. If you have like $30 products, so I would say to wait for $30 to spend, and if you can bear more, then wait for $60 to spend. Should we use responsive search or display ads to create ads manually, or you recommend using both? We can use both. Responsive search ads does very well because you put a lot of headlines and descriptions there, and Google then automatically show the best one to your audience. What is the strategy for high competitive products? Search ad, is there any way except to do CPC high? Except advertorial, there is no other way. You can use the advertorial strategy that can work better. But I would say for the high competitive products, if you have the budget, then just increasing your bids and making your ad rank better, that is the only solution there. Like the framework you are using, but can you share how exactly you pick products for dropshipping? So you always go with the trending products and see the response, how they are performing. Like on Facebook, we can always track view cart, add to cart, initiate checkout. The same thing we can do with the Google as well. You have to set up those goals in your Google Analytics, like add to cart, initiate checkout, and import those goals to your Google AdWords account. So once you are getting the traffic on your products, don't just check the conversions, but also check how many people have clicked on the add to cart, how many people have like visited more than 2 pages or 3 pages, how many people have spent the next some time, how many people have done the initial checkout, and based on that, you can qualify your visitors, you can traffic. How do you decide bids for cold campaigns? I always run brand bidding. Brand bidding is like mostly your hot type of stuff. For the cold campaigns, it is when you are scaling, and I usually keep the bids low because that a lot of traffic from cold campaign is not very quality. Okay, we already have this answered this question. Can we run shopping for medical equipment? E-commerce as budget is not getting spent. Well, recently Google announced that they are not going to run any products related to the COVID stuff. Like we remember 3 months before we were running the ads for the thermometers and for the but now they all have been stopped, so it's not available right now. Can we strike the referral and promote time with brand bidding? I am not sure about it. I know it's related to the affiliate network, affiliate marketing. Most of the networks don't provide brand bidding. Can we strike? I believe there are some techniques available around it, like using some blocker or some black hat, but I'm not sure. What should be minimum monthly budget for shopping ads? You can start with $1,000 a day. Sorry, $1,000 a month for the shopping campaign. Wi-Fi Ultra Boost, how will you proceed? So you basically set up single product campaign for Wi-Fi Ultra Boost and make sure that you have everything around Wi-Fi Ultra Boost which is not relevant or you think cannot convert in the next stage in your shopping campaign, and then wait for the clicks and see the search terms. Google Analytics tag for tracking visitors and conversions, or Google Ads before tracking posts, which works better. Google Ads before tracking posts works very well with the conversion because it provides the conversion value and everything. But we need analytics tags to track the other events like add to cart, initial checkout, multiple visits, retention on the website, bounce rate. So it's important to have the both the tags. You can use the Google Tag Manager for that. Should we exclude mobile app traffic from display remarketing also? Yes, we should exclude the mobile app traffic from display remarketing. If we have Indian Google account and running ads for US, do we still need to pay equalization tax? I believe it's a GST tax. Yes, we have the Google Ads account charged with the GST. It's a funnel flux. I will mention that in the after the webinar. Funnel flux is a very good tracking tool. How you charge the Google and Facebook ad for service-based clients? So over charges basically depends on the requirement of the client, and how we see we can work and we can have together. So it's basically on the products, what type of products, what type of campaigns, and what are their goals and objectives. Is there any role for house income optimization? Yes, there is an option in the demographics available, house income, and I would say if you have the tight budget, then you can narrow down your audience with the top 10, 20, or 40, 50% of people like who have the who come into the high income. But if you don't have the budget caps, then run for all of them, and after some data, take a decision based on that. How do you scale your ads with budget? So like I mentioned, we start with the hot campaigns, which is a very narrow audience and very selected products. After that, we go with the warm campaigns, which is a bit broad, and then with the cold campaign. That's how we proceed. And we increase the budgets of the campaigns or the products which are performing in case of Google Shopping or Smart Campaign. Service-based charges. Service charges are based on percentage, based on client budget or one-time setup cost. It is based on the client budget, and we charge somewhere from 15 to 10%. E-com affiliate say for Google Ads. Yes, it's white hat, and you can do if you want to do Google Shopping, you can create feed and that stuff. So Sharish, I believe here I have taken all the questions.
Yeah, most of the questions you have taken.
Yeah.
Few questions you have missed. Like one is from Arun Gautam. Means you don't do your own drop shipping, right? You manage for client, right?
Yes, I couldn't see that actually.
Yeah, so I think this is not needed. He says that how do you pick product for drop shipping and how do you manage gateway? So let's
okay, for some reasons I cannot see that question on my screen.
It's in Q&A section.
Yeah, I'm in the Q&A.
Okay, let it be. Don't worry. So next question is which platform you use for remarketing? Remarketing in case of affiliate brand campaign in which we don't have access to client website.
Where is this question?
It is in chat section.
From whom may I know the name, please?
Ullas.
Okay, so can you please repeat the question again? I cannot find
it. I will post that question.
How do you run Google Ads specifically for e-com affiliate website for commission? This one?
Yes. How do you run? Which platform do you use for remarketing? This one.
For remarketing, like we normally use the Google Ads. They provide the remarketing. So
yeah, but you don't have access to client website in this case.
Okay, so well, we have not seen that situation, to be very honest. So I'm not sure I can answer that question.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Then another is how do you find negative keywords for running campaign?
So you can find the negative keywords always looking into the search terms report. There is under the keywords, there is the search term reports, and you can see all the searches people are looking or visited and seen. So you can see which are relevant and which are not relevant, and you can just put them into the negative from there.
Okay, so another question is if I implement both Google Analytics tag and default Google Ads tracker, will my count double? Means will it tag the sales twice?
Yes, it will be considered twice. But what you have to do, you have to go into the conversion section, and there is an option of putting the value yes and no. So for the analytics you can always mention no, but it will be considering in the conversion. So let me show you actually how it will work. For example, you have put up a conversion. You have imported a conversion from analytics like goals, add to cart, and you are using the Google Ads conversion tracking code for conversion. Now, if someone made a sale, that means he did add to cart as well. That means it's a two conversion. But when you go to the conversion section, there is a value option, and you can put the no to the Google Analytics. That means don't import it don't show into the conversion. But when you see that into the Google Ads account, and you will segment that by the conversion action into the all conversions, you will be able to see how many people have done that to cart.
Okay, so
how do you? There's another question. I think how to run Google Ads profitably for e-com affiliate websites for commission? What strategy? So we have not done anything for e-com affiliate website, but the strategy for any e-com product, if you can enable the Shopify feed, the feed for the shopping campaigns, then you can make the sales from the Google Shopping for sure for that. And you can also use the advertorial strategy. So advertorial strategy actually works great when you use that with your product. Okay, affiliate, in case of affiliate, it will work. It should work good.
So another question is how do you manage US time zone from India? I asked them to change from India to US, but they are not doing it.
Time is something that time and price is something that is set up for one time. So they will not change that. It's like one time thing. So maybe probably you will have to create a new account for that.
How do you manage multiple ad accounts like payment and cards?
So for the multiple ad accounts, we use the My Client Center MCC, Google MCC, where we get all the access on there. And for the payments and everything, our clients, we ask for clients to add their card. So that's being managed to them.
Okay. So that's it. I think most of it already you have covered. Is there any price range that works best? Do you have for
For the
e-commerce? Yes.
product price,
Yeah.
that totally depends on your market. Like, but I recommend to have some competitive advantage. Like if you can have even 10 to 15% of price advantage, like less price, then that works very well in the with Google Shopping ads, because they show the Google ad with the price and everything in the Google ads. So, but if your market is like you have to find out what price of market, what type of market is there. But yeah, any price from up to 70, 80 US dollars works well. Even 100 or 120 works well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So another question is like,
There is a one question: can I use MCC to handle my own multiple dropshipping stores? Yes, you can use that. Until you have the chance of getting the account suspended or something. If you are because if your products are okay, then there's no issue. How to
so
run Google Ads? Yeah, sure.
which niche you have seen from your experience to be more profitable?
Okay, we have worked with multiple niches, and fashion does very well. Also, product specific, like single product. If you have single or two or three products which are like in electronics, we have seen the good performance as well, but there the profit margins are very less. So it's very hard to say actually the niche until you get that data and work on it. Basically, people start with the general store. They like they run the campaigns for the multiple products, and from there, if they found any product which is working, they create a single store around that, and then they promote that heavily. So that is one strategy you can use.
Okay, so another question is like, what are the tools you use to create HTML5 ads?
So we basically get them developed from the designer, and but there is a Google Web Designer tool available. You can create the ads with that.
Okay, so yeah, most of the things less. Other than that, we have covered.
Yeah, I think most of the questions have been covered.
Yeah. So
Okay,
another.
awesome.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot, Sandeep.
Okay, Saras, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for your participation as well. Thank you. Have a good day.
So you can share the PPT over the group, and you can ask people thread there where people can ask questions if they want.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, and I will share the recording. Whatever edit you need, you can tell me.
Yeah, you can. Anyone can message me on. This is my email ID, Philippe@RYMinds. If you have any question or anything, you need any help, I will be happy to do that.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you for joining us. And don't forget to join our group and subscribe for more.